race, war, class, women's equality, and local and national identity. Among these wider narratives sit the parts of history I love the most. The anecdotes of Geordie kids using their gas masks to hold fish and chips, or a Humberside chippy vending machine operated by a man pretending to be a robot. This book is not a comprehensive history, of which there have been two extremely valuable versions: Professor John K. Walton's Fish and Chips and the British Working Class, and Fish and Chips, A Takeaway History, by Professor Panikos Panayi. Nor is it a guide to the finest chippies, a delve into the sustainability of fishing, or a survey of potato types. At no point do I address health or dietary concerns. When Chippy Night is called, all that must go out the window. Look away now if you're expecting the work of a food critic. The book does not contain restaurant reviews, and I have eschewed pointed nitpicking of chippies and their products. Theirs is a hard enough job without some amateur possessing an unhealthy obsession with scraps putting the boot in. Of course, I have had bad fish and chips, sometimes in researching this book, but this is fundamentally a celebration. The sense of this being an arduous trade to operate was especially true in the period when I undertook my travels. A combination of post-Brexit supply chain difficulties, a shortage of cheap raw materials resulting from the war in Ukraine, and severe energy cost rises made running a chip shop more difficult than ever. Consequently, chippies were closing at a saddening and alarming rate. The National Federation of Fish Fryers warned of potentially an extinction event for small businesses. For customers, the central repercussion was a stark increase in the price of this traditionally affordable treat. Even takeaway fish and chips had, in many places, climbed above the psychologically sacrosanct £10 barrier. This troubled backdrop provided compelling motivation for travelling and writing. More than ever, I felt a determination to cherish and champion this food and these places. I wanted to let daylight in upon magic, considering and then explaining the sorcery behind fish and chips, and to show that our chippies retain resilience and vigour. This will be a love letter, not a eulogy. Moreover, it is far from controversial to assert that our country's recent past has been somewhat fractious. In something as seemingly frivolous as fish and chips, I saw an emblem and an industry that symbolised shared belonging and collectivism. In a time of so much sound and fury, this had to be a story worth pursuing. Although my journey for this book started on the east coast of Scotland, my chippy odyssey really began in the North Yorkshire village I grew up in, Copmanthorpe. As a child, my friends and I would sit on a low wall outside Bill's. No food tasted so divine as the scorching fish and chips we ate on those cold evenings, often as a second sneaky tea, steam rising into the black sky. There followed other pillar and staging post chippies. After Middlesbrough football matches, my dad would take me to the Essex Street shop in that town, its windows forever glazed with fried heat. "Any fish tonight?" the fryer would ask as we entered, always a good sign, along with a cue, as it meant freshly prepared food. When I later became a dad myself, going for fish and chips came to be something my daughter and I did together from a very young age. She is a teenager now, but still a wave of preposterous pride washes over me when she begs for a trip to the chippy. Here, then, is one man's take during a looped journey across Scotland, England and Wales in the spring and summer of 2023. There will be omissions. Readers may well sigh in disbelief that their beloved chip shop or speciality dish has been missed. Therein, though, is the charm of this meal. We care about it with an almost alarming intensity.
To keep listening to this audiobook, I've left you a link in the description so you can do it, at no cost thanks to Audible's 30-day free trial.